Yep, we're back to our baking once again. And if you've not yet subscribed, liked, or shared this channel, this video right now, please do so right now. You know that thing, support the family. So, yes, this is Cooking with Abba, where we make every food moment count. And today, we're making your regular breakfast bread rolls. Yes, your bread rolls for breakfast or for snacking, you know that thing for your sandwiches and all those ones. So this is wheat flour based one, and yes, I'm using the wheat flour, the original. What's it just wheat, whole wheat, which has just been milled to be a very smooth texture. And then I used the wheat flour, the regular ones on the market as well. That was half half. Yes. So you need milk, of course, in your bread rolls. That makes it rich. And then a bit of margarine. The margarine shouldn't be too much. And then sugar, yeast, nutmeg, and some baking powder. So what I begin by doing is to mix my dried ingredients. So all the dried ingredients go into my mixing bowl. I add a pinch of salt to it. Then I mix it all up. So my salt and everything goes into it. Then I just mix everything up, all the dried ingredients. Then I add in the margarine as well. You need to mix this well for everything to go perfect. You know, you don't want to have some parts with margarine, some parts the margarine is sitting somewhere else. So you need to mix this properly, wrap it in properly. Then when you're done, you're going to add in a bit of egg. This gives you that sort of rich bread texture, feel, taste, you know that thing. So your bread and milk, the wet ingredients also come in. You could add in essence, of course. Vanilla always has a trick. And then once we're done mixing them up, we're going to use a bit of water to bind it to get the dough for us to knead. So you add your water in bits. Mix this up in bits till the whole stuff is coming together. Don't be too worried just in case you used a bit too much of water. Just keep some dried flour around. When you're done, you can just sprinkle a bit on it and then mix it up. And then when you're kneading, you can equally use the flour to help you knead. Sometimes when the water is too much, it becomes a bit easy to knead, but that doesn't mean you should use too much water because you have a lot of issues. And when it comes to bread, you need to make sure that you fully activate the gluten. So you need to make sure that you are going to knead and knead and knead and knead it very well. So what I begin by doing is to let it rest after getting it for like 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Then because it was still too soft, I sprinkled some more flour around it just to make sure that I can easily pick it up and then work on it. So you need to be doing full gear kneading. If you are going manual, this can take you about 10 to 15 minutes. That's the reality on ground. If you don't knead your bread too well, you won't have that stretchy, elastic feel of bread. Your bread will be too flaky and that sort of stuff. So you need to knead this properly. If it's the first time kneading or you're now learning to knead, check out my dry donut recipe on the channel. I taught various ways to knead a dough, different styles, different means, different ways of kneading a dough. So you need to work this dough properly. When it comes to bread, you need to do a lot of kneading just for you to get that elastic kind of feel. And when it comes to bread, hard flour is the best. Yes, a soft pastry flour will take you a lot of time to knead. Yes, so if you want to save your arms, use hard flour because if you're using like 10-15 minutes to knead this small dough for hard flour, you would have to double up the kneading time when you're using a soft flour. Yes, so that's one thing you need to note. So you can use soft flour to make your bread rolls, but just make sure that you knead it very, very well. Else you have that elastic something. Or bread no ever proper. And we don't want the brodo to be proper, all over. So yes, once you knead that perfectly well, you still have to rest the dough for another like 15, 20, 30 minutes. And that's how come the bread we eat around, usually they work on it the day before. So they take it to the mixing centers, like in the morning or before midday. In the evening, they work on it and then leave it, and then at dawn, they bake it. So once it sits for the 15-20 minutes, it's going to rise up a bit, and then you realize when you press your hand on it, it's going to rise up again. So you need to take out the air and then knead it just a little bit more, and then you can cut the sizes you want. So I divided mine into 8, and then I just did it into balls. You can use your hand, and then you get your perfect balls. If you are very new to this, like I was saying, you can check out my donut, the dry donut. I equally taught how to get your perfect balls and circles after kneading. So yes, I'm just doing this as if I'm doing fufu. Yeah, so this gets you your balls of bread, your bread rolls. You get a shape easy. And depends on the size. If you want really big bread rolls, you can increase it up. But then I wanted dinner sized bread rolls. So I just mold it into my circles, and then I'll put it in my baking pan. You just needed to let it sit for a while, about 15 to 20 minutes, for it to rise up a bit. Then it goes into your preheated oven and you bake. Your bread doesn't take too long to bake. Yes, so with a small batch like this, 15 to 30 minutes can do for you. Yes, and when your bread is done, you realize the outer part is going to show. When you break it, you see that the inner part is also done, and the base is also going to show. So this is simple way of having your rich bread rolls at home. And I sprinkled some sesame seeds just to make it look beautiful and nice. But if you want to use the sesame seeds and have it fully on the bread, you can brush it with milk before you put the sesame seeds. That would hold it there. Or you could even brush your bread with milk just to make it look nicer, but I'm not a fan of that. But then, just make it look nicer, you could just spread some milk on it, or you could use a bit of egg on the top. That's going to make your bread look, the top look shiny. So this is simple bread rolls recipe you can try at home for your snack time, for your sandwiches, you know that thing, for your breakfast, and then for your meal time. So till I see you in the next food video, do live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry, and let every food moment count. Mwah.